Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. And our guest today is Dr. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, I bet you've been called that before. Good, that's great. Dr. Marilyn Moore, and she is a professor at National University. Welcome to the show, Marilyn.
Thank you for having me, Jose. And yes, a lot of people do that.
Oh, man. And, you know, you and I know each other, so that's a funny thing. So, oh, boy.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to read from the questionnaire here. Anyway, that's not such a bad thing to be called, is it?
No, not at all.
Anyway, I want to thank you for being on our show and for sharing the information you're going to share with us about something that you've written. This is actually a book for tutoring sessions. But what I want our folks to know a bit about you and National University, about the university and the latitude it gives you to do the work you do, and then your history.
Jose, I started teaching in the 1970s, and that was in public schools, and I had that experience, and then I moved on to getting my doctor's degree, and I actually earned it in 1990, and then have had my career in teaching at the college level, which I wanted to pursue. And I've been at National University for 18 years, and I'm in Sanford School of Education, and I run a program there in that school that is a state program, and it's called the Reading and Literacy Added Authorization, where my students earn a credential in literacy. And this credential entitles them to be a tutor. It entitles them to work with the public schools as a language arts coordinator for a whole school district, and become a literacy coach if they wish. So that occupies most of my time recently. And, you know, it's a pleasure to see the students use my new book. I had found that they really needed a source, and so I have put together everything in one spot, finally, that I had learned in teaching over several years, as you can see. So I have been in college teaching since 1990. So, you know, I can't tell you how happy I was that National University allowed me 6 months of sabbatical leave to get my research together.
Wonderful. And you got to do...
Wonderful.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and you got to do one of the things that teachers often want to do, and that is exactly putting everything into one place. So that's quite an achievement. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So I didn't mean to cut you off. You had a flow going there. But let me ask you this, now that I've cut you off, and that is, tell the people who are in the program, are they going into the program to get a teaching credential? Is the credential that they earn being in your class and in the program the same as having a regular teaching credential?
My students, or candidates, as I call them, already have their teaching credential, and they have to have taught for 3 years before the state will award them this credential. So it's a added authorization is a term for it, on top of their teaching credential. And some of them are getting a master's degree in the program as well, but they have to have taught for 3 years to be in the program.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and so with the additional certificate or credential that they get through you, they're able to do what they do as a teacher, but also have a, let's call it a specialty in tutoring. Is that one way of putting it?
It is, and at their school where they teach, usually when they get this new credential added onto their teaching credential, they earn more money, which is nice for them.
Yeah.
And some of them are ready for a change, so they may just become a resource teacher instead of having a self-contained classroom. Or, as I said, they may go on and be a literacy coach in which they go to other schools, if they want to help people with teaching or reading.
Wonderful. So you might have people who are in a regular credential program and are approved to teach in the classroom who may not want to work under that format. And so is that what you're seeing in the program that you're running at National University Sanford?
The credential program at National is for people that are earning their initial teaching credential. So this is above and beyond the credential program, but, the master's degree then would be the incentive, I would say. I hope that answers your question.
It does, and it does give them choices just in terms of, do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to be a coach? I'm not sure how long the program's been going. You can tell me, but just what are some of the other things that your graduates have gone on to do?
The other thing that they have gone on to do is, and this program I started in 2002. Then in 2015, just to show you what the involvement of the state, they changed the standards of this program, and we had to rewrite to all the standards. So after writing about a 300-page document, my program was approved by CTC, California Teaching Credentialing, and also nationwide by NCATE. So that is something that's happened with the program. I have had approximately 800 students go through the program, and I hear from them what they're doing. Some of very few of them go ahead and become a coordinator for a whole school district. But I have had some do that. Some of them go on to be a principal with the understanding of teaching and reading, which is so important for principals. So the program, once they get, it's a pretty rigorous program. Once they get that from the state, it opens a lot of doors for them.
Yeah, and the whole challenge, as you said, the standards are changed, and you had to respond to those. That's a tough thing to do. I'm somewhat familiar with that process, but you did it, and that's been to the benefit of your graduates, and of course to the students and other educators that they're touching. We often think in terms of reading specialists, and I don't have the sense that that's what they're doing in your program, but it's more another way of looking at a particular teaching format. Is that a good way of looking at it?
Yes. There is also, and I have started working on it, there is another credential above this one, which is the credential in reading and literacy leadership. And that is where people would be interested in becoming an administrator and actually oversee a whole district in the area of literacy, all literacy in all the schools in the district. So, yes, but the program that I have, they have to take the Reading and Literacy Added Authorization, which it's called, before they could take this leadership specialist. So they're just probably, if I could explain, the difference is is in what kind of position they can be in after they finish the programs. So, but yes, the program that I'm running is a specialization in reading. Absolutely.
Very good. Very good. We're gonna go to break here just a bit, Marilyn, in about a minute, and I wanted to talk to you a bit more. I want our listeners to know more about the book that you've written. It's called Designing a Successful Tutoring Session for Struggling Readers, and this is by Dr.
Correct.
Marilyn Moore. And yeah, I guess I don't have a lot of Marilyn friends, and I can't say I was friends with Marilyn Monroe. But I sure did like her, and I sure do like you, so that's a good thing. But we're gonna talk about your book and just the whole challenge of it and some of the contents and such. So,
okay.
Can you, with just the seconds that we have, tell us how people can get in touch with you, just really quickly?
They can email me at mmoore@nu.edu.
Very good, very good. So here's an additional resource for folks who are looking for help in structuring tutoring sessions. And we've been talking to Dr. Marilyn Moore. She's from National University, and she's going to be back in just a few minutes with our second session on this topic. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader and Internet talk.
Can you help a newborn baby in need? Sometimes the blessing of birth becomes complicated and perilous. Miracle Babies is there to help. Miracle Babies helps moms and dads give their all to their struggling little baby, but still need more. When you give to Miracle Babies, you help them give more. More skin-to-skin care, breast milk, and love. Go to miraclebabies.org and give right now. Be their miracle. Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show. Our guest is Dr. Marilyn Moore. Got it right that time. You know, they tell you, Marilyn, that you want to make sure to pronounce the names of your guests correctly, and I'm not incorrectly saying your name. I'm just giving you a new name. Anyway,
okay. That's a good name. That's a good name.
Yes, a good name. Yes. So let's talk about your book and just the whole challenge. And would you say that a lot of this was information just based on your experience? I know you always have to do some research, but was this kind of what you would say? Man, this is what I do. This is what I've done over 18 years.
You're correct. I wanted to put together all of the different courses I have taught as well, and relied on the information from them. But also you need to keep up, of course, with the research and what's going on in reading and writing as well. And so, because you can't separate the two. So, right, although I depended on my experiences and my philosophies, it is based also on the learning theories of how children learn. So it encompasses a lot of different things, and the presentations I make at conferences and go to conferences to keep up, and constantly read and take several journals, so it incorporates all of that. The associations and organizations I belong to, in including the San Diego Reading. So, it incorporates a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot here. As I'm looking at the description, at least one of them that's online, and you can tell me how much this is moving out there. So this is addresses how to design and develop a successful one-on-one tutoring session tailored to the needs of struggling readers. And before I continue, do you differentiate between adults and children? I'm gathering most of the people in your program are interested in instructing young people.
Oh, good question, Jose. I do not go into adult reading because that's another whole area. There are some things, of course, the strategies can be used with adults as well, but I do not go into that in the book. I mainly address K through 12 in the public schools or charter schools, wherever. And to extend that, I do know that the schools have volunteers that tutor children. So the book is intended for them as a textbook for college courses and also for parents. The last chapter is for parents and, how parents need things to look at and read about now that everybody is sheltering and has online instruction from their teachers. And so I do have a chapter on that as well.
Very good. Components and organization of a tutoring session, word recognition and fluency strategies, comprehension strategies, writing strategies, content area with STEAM, use of technology, very good, English language learners, and parent involvement. And then there's more here, and as you referenced, in compliance with the Common Core state standards. So it's quite recent what you've done here. And all of that description, and I know it's in there, but you don't say it. Maybe you can tell our listeners who are like, well, I know a lot of this stuff, but I didn't hear phonics. But it's in there, right? And where do you stand with that as a tool for tutors and teachers?
Good question. Again, it's my opinion. Probably is not expressed in the book, but I feel very strongly that students need phonics, and in the English learners that we have, this is particularly important. But not all children can learn by rote. We went through a period in teaching and reading where they was a whole language approach where they were just trying to have all students learn through rote, and that did not work. You have to have UDL with the teaching. UDL means that you meet the needs of all children. And so absolutely, I have in the chapter on reading skills, I have a lot about phonics. So, yeah, it's a very important, addition to the book.
Very good. And I know probably some of the listeners are like, Jose, why did you ask that question? It's interesting that there's still a little bit of debate about, best approaches and such, and rote, whole language, et cetera, versus phonics. But I like to have folks on the record, and that being you in this case, Marilyn, about that particular. I don't want to call it a resource. It's actually a method. It's the code. So there.
Right.
Now
right.
We know where you stand with that, and that's part of the whole word recognition and even fluency strategies that you reference in your book description. Is there something you can name as a fluency strategy? And I know you can, and why that's important.
Okay, for fluency, the most outstanding things are like the reader's theater, and this is wonderful because the children are working together. It's collaborative, just like you give them a script of a play, and a lot of books have. There are books that have the plays for children in them, so they just practice the parts. They don't make scenery and all of that, but again, they learn by repeating the parts and practicing. And in fact, there is J. Samuel's strategy called repeated reading, which is probably the best strategy for fluency that research has, and they still write about it. He developed it in 1979, but there's many articles now, which I've included on readers' repeated reading. So that strategy is the best strategy of all. It has been everything we use, we want it to be research-based, and this certainly is.
Very
so
good.
That would be,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that those two things right off the top of my head I know I have in the book and would be great.
Yeah, well, as I'm listening to you, so what a powerful thing. Even as a struggling reader, if you're in a situation, let's say you're going to be in a play or doing reader's theater, here's where you can go over the same text over and over and over. It has a purpose to you. You get to practice. You get to master it. And maybe some of it is memorization, but a lot of it is still going over the same text and getting practice with decoding and maybe learning some things by sight. But I think that's what you described as a very powerful word recognition approach and just a real confidence builder, which a lot of our learners need. You agree?
I agree totally, and it's fun. It's very motivating for the children, and they really enjoy it. They want to be chosen to have one of the parts. If you have 30 students in a classroom, they all are wanting to have a part.
Yep. Yeah, I forgot the fun part because it is fun, And then again, you're building success into your instructional program. We know how much anybody who's learning anything needs to experience success just to reinforce. Because learning is about going into the unknown and addressing it, and that can be frustrating. Is there anything you want to add on about digital literacies, technology, and such before we conclude?
Yes, I have done studies on the use of technology, specifically in comprehension. And, in fact, it went nationwide, and I did it in 1996. But anyhow, it was looking at children who reading from the actual book and compared them with children reading online the same book, okay. And the students and they had comprehension questions about the stories, and the students reading online actually did better with the same book. And, okay, so the text-to-speech, I think, is what does it. If the students are reading e-books, that's one feature that really helps them.
Very good. And I know we're down to about 15 seconds here. Marilyn, I want to thank you for being on the show and for sharing your book, Designing a Successful Tutoring Session for Struggling Readers. Price on this is $25 to $35?
$25 for the ebook, $35 for the the paperback, and it is available on Amazon.
Okay, thank you. We'll have you back again. Take good care. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Nowadays, Internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the Internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the Internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McCullough brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcCullough.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. MCAULIFFE. ChristopherMcCullough.com. Nowadays, Internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the Internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.